Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Crypto Economy Talks. This is a show at which we talk to who's who of crypto economy world, the people who are pioneers, who are shapers, the change makers of crypto economy. Crypto economy, the rising economy with our standard economy, which is making a significant difference. Today, it is roughly around 5% of the global economy, but the pace at which it is rising, it will soon become 20 to 25% of the overall economy of the world. With that in mind, it is also very important that the rise of this economy, the first decentralized economy, not necessarily controlled by any government, is also shaping up for the right reasons, for the right purpose, and adds to the wider economy of the world. We today have Pascal with us, who is the CEO of Ledger, a very important part of the crypto economy ecosystem and what he's contributing there. He's going to share with us some views about what he thinks of this economy and how it's going to shape our future for good forever. With that, Pascal, welcome to the show. If you can please introduce yourself and a little bit about your company.
Yes, thank you for having me, and hi everyone. I'm Pascal Gauthier. Today I'm the CEO at Ledger. I actually did the first part of my career in advertising technology, which is very far from what we do in crypto today, but it was the first part of my career. I was lucky to work at companies such as Yahoo at the time. And I built a company with a group of people called Criteo that we listed at the NASDAQ in 2013 for a little over 2 billion in valuation. And after advertising, I was, thinking of sort of what to do with my life, with my working life, and I sort of stumbled upon Bitcoin. And I thought right away that, it was very intriguing and it felt like being the next technology revolution. And I started my own company. It's a company called Kaiko that is doing well right now under the leadership of Ambre Soubiran. Kaiko is a data company in the space, providing market data, very precise market data to financial institutions, a la Bloomberg or IHS Market. And at the same time, I was the first investor in a company called Ledger, still called Ledger today. First investor and board member. And from investor board member, I became president. From president, I became CEO. And I've been the CEO at Ledger since mid-19 now. So this is in a flash, like who I am, my career, and why I'm here.
Awesome. And Pascal, a bit more about Ledger. What does Ledger do in the crypto economy world and what kind of role it plays?
Sure. So, if you want to dub it down, the first idea, the first mission for Ledger is security when it comes to your crypto assets. And the second mission of Ledger is ease of use. So we believe that in order for the crypto asset economy or the token economy or the Web3 economy, however you want to call it, for this economy to thrive, you need it to be secure and you need to be easy to use. Secure, why? Because all of this token economy, crypto economy, and so on and so forth is based on the ownership of a private key to prove that you're rightful owner of your crypto. If you lose that private key or if you give that private key to someone else, poof, goes your crypto. And so the security of the private key, whether when you're not using the coins or when you're using the coins, at any time, the security of the private key is paramount to your success, and to the success of the industry. Now, once we've secured the private key, if the technology is very hard to use, then it's not helping anyone because yes, you're secure, but there's nothing that you can do with your coins. So Ledger has really worked a lot in these past few years at making it really easy to use, secure and easy to use at the same time. And this is really the problem that we're trying to solve. And so from cold storage only solution, this is how people usually picture Ledger. It's a cold storage, although we don't believe there is anything, cold storage doesn't really help the user, but from a pure security solution now to a solution where you can access your world of crypto through Ledger Live, which is the software portal that you have on your phone, on your computer. We have evolved a lot. And so right now with Ledger, you can buy your crypto, you can swap, your crypto, you can stake it, you can hold your NFTs, you can watch your NFTs in Ledger Live. I mean, there are so many things that we're doing now and more things that we'll do in the future. And so this has become the work of Ledger. But the mission is simple, it's security and make it easy to use.
Awesome. So technically, if I use Ledger, then I don't necessarily need likes of Binance or Coinbase. I can essentially rely on Ledger to buy various crypto assets.
Yes, you can, but the thing is, you probably still need like a Binance, a Changely, and FTX, but it will be directly integrated into your Ledger experience. So Ledger is not an exchange and is never going to be a financial institution, but the idea is that everything is connected to your Ledger natively, and you can enjoy that through your Ledger Live experience. So you don't need to open your Ledger on one side, open your FTX on the other side, et cetera, and you can all use in the same interface, and we make it easy to use, meaning that your private keys of your ledger are completely synchronized with the service that you're going to use. It's very elegant, it's working very well. You can check it out, like log on into Ledger Live with your Nano, and then you go into the discovery section, and then you have all the apps that you can use, and you can try them on. Like it's really neat.
Super awesome. I think look, you hit the hammer on the nail. Security has been one of the biggest aspects in the crypto world. A lot of people have lost crypto, and that has also made them lose faith in the crypto system. So this is definitely important. Pascal, your views on how the rise of crypto economy has happened, the speed at which it has evolved. What do you believe about where we stand today and what the future of crypto economy is going to be?
Look, I think we already know the movie. It's funny. This is not the end of the movie. This is maybe the first 20 minutes of the movie, you know. But we already know the movie, and it has already happened many times with technology before, and it has happened with the internet. If you look at the movie of the internet and you look at the movie of crypto, it's almost the same. And so right now, if you compare crypto to the internet, I think we are in 1998. And if you remember 1998 for the internet, I mean, I don't think you even had Google. I don't think Google existed yet. Like you certainly
I
didn't
think
have Facebook.
we had DOS-based email at that time and Pegos emails. I think even web-based email were a rarity. Very few people had that.
Exactly. So right now, I think this is 1998, and the reason why it is because infrastructure is being built. It's interesting what happened in 21. Like this is the moment for crypto. So not talking about the internet, but for crypto, this is the moment of the application layers, like the dApps and the play to earn, and many things where suddenly people are like, oh, this is what crypto is for, like NFT, etc. This is the application layer being built, and the reason why now it's starting to be built is because okay, now we have like protocols and an infrastructure layer with custodians and so on, and wallets and so on and so forth that sort of makes sense and support the development of applications. But I still think it's very early. It's 1998 in the sense that the applications that we have right now are good compared to what we've had before. But typically, if you take NFT, there are many things that are broken in terms of NFT. We're about to make an announcement on how we intend to fix this, but from a security standpoint, from a trust standpoint, etc., NFT is the same story as crypto. Again,
Yep.
like story always repeats itself. Crypto started by people losing coins, losing private keys, etc., and suddenly now you have ledger, you have custodians, and so that has gone better. NFT starts, and nobody cares about security. Everybody goes crazy. Like the images of NFT are not even secure, so most people actually buy JPEGs that they don't even control, but they control the tokens. You see, history always repeats itself, and so what's going to happen to crypto is exactly the same that happened to the internet in terms of evolution, and what will happen to NFT is the same that happened to crypto. But every time people do the same mistakes over and over again, and it's okay, and the technology always end up in a better place if you give it a few years. And so 1998 is where we are today when it comes to crypto.
So Pascal, 98 to 2021, almost everyone in the world seems to carry a smartphone. Internet penetration is all-time high in the world. At the same time, almost every gadget is connected. And most companies now want to claim that they are a digital company and a tech company. From banks to car companies are all claiming to be tech companies, right? So if you were to extrapolate on the same breadth, where does crypto economy go in next 20 years?
Well, I think you already said it. I mean,
If
like
you had to predict the future, let me put it this way.
you just predicted the future. 1998 to 2021, everybody could see. I remember discussions I was having in at Yahoo in 2004. It was 2004, and I am a tech native person. Like I've always only worked in tech and in internet, etc. So for me, it was obvious that everything would become digital. And I remember a discussion I was having with some of the people at Yahoo that were coming from traditional media. They were from traditional media, TV, print, etc., and they transferred to the web. So they were not like web nuts like I was. And I was telling them everything will become digital. And they were telling me in 2004, no, like it's too much, like you go too far, like some stuff will be digital, but most of the stuff will still be old school, etc. But okay. So 16 years after, which is the blink of an eye, honestly, like I remember this as if it was yesterday, we all went digital and in a crazy way, right? Like everything is in our
Yeah.
phone, and so this tells you that uh, first of all, most people are not technology visionaries, and thank God, because otherwise we have too many Steve Jobs in this world, etc. They're the only few people that can see the future. But again, there are few people remember the history, and so if you want to know where we're going to be in sort of 20 years or 20 plus years in crypto, I mean, it's going to be phenomenal. It's like the same way that we got digitalized in 20 years, we will be tokenized in 20 years, but it won't feel like it. Like, in the sense that when you use your phone, you're not thinking, oh, I'm using the internet. He has become an extension of yourself almost. Like even in the usage, the way you type, the way you interact with it, now you can talk to your phone and he understands what you're saying. And so what the iPhone and phone manufacturers have done is that they've hidden the complexity of the internet. So they made it easy to use, not very secure because it was never about that, but they made it easy to use. And so it's exactly the same thing that's going to follow. And the way that Ledger is going to play a role in this is we're going to make it very easy to use in the next 20 years. So when you're going to have your Ledger in 20 years, first, it's going to look very different from what you have today. And we already know sort of what it's going to look like, and at least for the next 5 years. And then it's going to be super easy to use in the sense that you won't be thinking about crypto the way you think about it today. So the market is about to go from business to geeks to business to consumer. And this is what we're trying to do at Ledger.
And I think, Pascal, that's a very, very important aspect because today, like as you said in 98, people don't understand internet. People never understood the technology, but they could relate to the use part of it. And I think crypto is at the same juncture. Geeks and techies understand the value of it. Business sees it as interesting thing to look at, but a common person is yet not understanding what is he or she getting into. Their attraction is limited to something which is giving some phenomenal returns if you put in some money, but they don't necessarily understand the value of what it is and what the extended use of this could be. So I think it would be good if you can briefly elaborate your view of how this crypto as a technology or tokenization as a technology can impact various aspects of our life, and how there are many things that are yet not tokenized. There is a possibility and ability to get them tokenized.
Well, sometimes I think we underestimate 1998 or when we are right now. I think there are certain things today already with crypto that are working much better than anything else in the world, and we look at it as, oh, it's a given. I would argue that to send money across borders,
Yeah.
especially if you're in very different jurisdiction, let's say you're in France and you want to send money in Nigeria or Bhutan, you know, I mean, what is better than Bitcoin today? I mean, nothing. What is better than crypto today? Nothing. So already that for me is a fact of life, and it's already the case. So remittance, however you want to take it, like Bitcoin and crypto beats everything that exists on the planet right now. And The question a few years ago was like, okay, great, you receive Bitcoin, but then what do you do with it? Now you can start seeing that in many countries, actually, you would use Bitcoin the same way that those countries use the dollar. You know, I was in a country recently, they have the local currency and then you can pay in dollars as well. So if you can do that, why not pay in Bitcoin? Like, you know, this is going to, it already exists and this is going to happen like sort of lightning fast now because Bitcoin has, you know, it has become a store of value and, you know, people can actually rely on it. El Salvador has already switched and they're making more and more with it. So you can really see that this is already the case and it's going to, you know, strengthen itself like sort of every day. So that use case is already big. And also sometimes, you know, we think too much about Bitcoin for Western countries or like Dubai, etc. Okay, but that's one use case for Bitcoin. But then think about Bitcoin for, you know, countries where the currency has completely failed. So think, you know, Zimbabwe or um,
Pascal, just being devil's advocate there, yeah, coming from the finance world and monetary fiscal policy, I'm a bit overconscious person when it comes to this. But when you look at some of these economies who are not having strong economy, not having strong political system, which in past would typically rely on a much more stronger, stable global currency. Ideally, they would rely on US dollars. So they would ask for IMF or somebody for help or US dollars for help. Notes would get printed and get shipped to that country as the currency. Sometimes euro. In recent years, we have even seen Chinese yuan. But practically, Chinese yuan is pegged to US dollars. So it's all about stability of the currency. Volatility is very low. The struggle that we see now is that some of these economies, which are themselves not strong enough, neither they have ability to regulate anything, are essentially getting on a cryptocurrency as the means, as an alternative economy, something which is extremely volatile and they have no understanding or control of. When you get US dollars in your economy, you at least know how many notes you are getting in your economy and what are you actually distributing. Whereas in
well,
case of crypto, you have both issues, the volatility and the volume.
well, the you know, I think it's I'm not looking at it that way. I think the way I look at it is if you take any of those countries, or if you take the banking system in general, you can look at IT spend. And right now, IT spend is huge. It's huge. And it's really like spending on on something that is quite broken. Like it doesn't work really well. And so you're building on top of foundations that are sort of weak. And so the way to look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general and sort of public protocols is just like if you're a country and you want to build, you want to spend, you know, $1 in sort of IT for the future of your financial system, I would use crypto and Bitcoin any day as the mean of transfer. And
Got
then and then if you want dollar because you don't want the Bitcoin volatility, well, get stable coins. I mean, what's happening right now in crypto is that most of the fundraising that is happening right now, a lot of VCs now are sending, you know, stable coins in dollars rather than dollars because it's easier to make the transfer.
Yeah.
And so I would say, I think countries will build instead of trying to spend billions of dollars trying to build the IC system and their banks to build an IT system. And take El Salvador, for example. I mean, it's super interesting that you have more people holding a Bitcoin wallet today than you have people having a bank account. And so to me, that's just IT costs that went from, I don't know how many dollars per user if you want them all to have a bank account to nothing if you want them to hold Bitcoin. And so if you look at it from an IT perspective, the case is solved. Like, you know, if you need to build IT today, build it on the blockchain, not on an old MySQL system.
And Pascal, there's a fantastic example of very something similar in Africa, when the whole world went through telephone and having a telephone connection wires in everybody's house with a ring.
Exactly.
Africa had to leapfrog that because they missed that whole generation of having phones in every house. So what happened in Africa? Those phone lines only went to few places. It never went to everyone. But what actually went to everyone at a rocket speed was a mobile phone. And today, in most African countries, on an average, people have 1.5 mobile phones, right? Most people end up having more than one plan. So the penetration of mobile, and as you said, sometimes it's good for the countries to just leapfrog the technology. So if you
Exactly.
haven't built your financial system till date, stop thinking about building it legacy and upgrading it. You might as well just build on the brand new technology.
No, that's exactly my point. And you see, like, this is how the history repeats itself. Like, I'm always taking that exact example of Africa, sort of leapfrogging from one technology to the other, because why would you not? Like, it's actually better, it's cheaper, it goes faster. And I think that's what countries will start doing. And, and I think the revolution is coming from there. Like, if you see, like, who is thinking of, jumping on Bitcoin, it's usually countries that don't have so much money. So actually, spending less in IT is actually quite interesting. And, and then suddenly everyone can have a bank account, etc. And of course, like, the people who want to resist this change will say, oh, but, is it even legal, etc., etc. But the thing is, technology is technology, and this is primarily technology. And then on top of that, you can put regulation. But if the technology is cheaper and works better, take that, and then you figure out regulation on top.
I strongly believe when a technology revolution comes, all the people who are detractors at best can delay the technology revolution, but can't stop it. It's a matter of time. It does take over. On that note, I also wanted to understand you spoke about stable coins. So, what's your view on central bank digital currencies, CBDCs? Do you see that as a possible reality across the world?
Well, on this, I really, I mean, first, I would say that, stable coin and CBDC are probably, two different parts of the same problem, I guess. To me, what CBDC says is something that would be controlled by the central bank directly. So in that regard, the crypto yuan is a CBDC. The US regulators have actually sort of left the security, the stable coins in the hands of, like, uh, private uh, companies, if and only if they respect certain rules. And Europe, I think, is trying to do it with the central bank, but they have a 2 years. They're going to think about it for 2 years, and in 2 years, I think it's 25. They're going to come back with something, which first of all, I think I mean, in terms of crypto years, is like they might as well do nothing, and we talk again in 2 years, because I think it's too long to decide what to do. In general, if what the different governments, what they have in mind, and I think this is what China has in mind, is like CBDC is used for the control of the business and the populations, and sort of knowing exactly who does what, when, etc. with the money. I think it's a terrible idea, because moving from cash to CBDC, where cash is transparent and anonymous, and so to move from a cash system that is transparent and anonymous to a system that is e-cash, but where you have to for every single purchase declare your identity, and so everything is traceable. I think it's the worst that crypto can bring to this world. So I think we have to be very careful with this, in order to make it like something for the consumer and for the citizen, and not against them. And so I understand that countries are trying to balance different things, and that there are anti-money laundering laws, and so KYC. So are you a drug dealer? Are you a terrorist? Like, I understand that, but I don't think we should sacrifice every liberty or every freedom that we have for the greater good, because I think it's a terrible slippery slope. So I would say, if CBDCs are real cryptocurrencies in the sense that they are traceable but anonymous, for example, then I think it's okay. As soon as it becomes like KYC, AML, and like all of the above for any kind of transaction, then I think it's a clear danger, and we should be careful.
Pascal, one last question. What would be your message to number of policymakers, governments across the world? All policymakers, governments across the world are trying to get their head around crypto economy and thinking of what policies, what regulations to come up with. What would be your message to all of them?
Well, I think it's a simple message. It's first of all, you can't fight gravity. If you let the apple go, it falls. And to fight change and to fight a technology revolution of the magnitude of crypto is a bad idea because it's going to happen regardless. And so the question is, so don't fight gravity and be water. Be water, my friends. It's the Bruce Lee thing where, so be water means like you adapt to the situation and you make good of it. Because I don't think, just like the internet, I don't think, you remember with the internet, it was like the new economy versus the old economy. It was the thing. And so again, with this, like, people have a tendency to oppose like old economy versus new economy. And actually what happened with the internet is, technology is here to enhance. So what has happened is actually people that embrace the change were enhanced by this technology. And so people, companies, media companies that have digitalized themselves well, such as Disney, for example, are super enhanced because of this. And they were not destroyed by the internet. Now they're completely digitalized companies, and it works very well. Those companies that fought too much digitalization actually didn't end up so well in the end. And so it's going to be exactly the same. So technology is here to enhance, not to fight or build a different world or a new world. It's just like everyone's going to have to adapt, users, companies, etc., etc. So don't fight the gravity and be water. That's what I would say.
Pascal, fantastic message. Not to fight gravity and be as agile and as adaptable as water. Thank you so much for your time today. It was pleasure having you on this show, and I'm sure our audiences would love to hear your views. And we wish you and Ledger all the best for the future. You're definitely making a better experience for all crypto users and even safer. So I wish you all the best and have a great success. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you for having me.